there's a lot of research articles on how hydrogen has been used in healing.
Yeah, totally. And it's starting to kind of get here, but there's hydrogen can be used in healing by even IV. They've used it before like that.
Meditation is actually a process of trying to clear the mind of cluttered thoughts or extra thinking. And it can be used through deep breathing exercises, or you call it a mantra, just saying one word over and over and over and over.
That is toxic to the body. The body cannot break that down. And if you want to have fatty liver, drink sodas, right?
Yeah,
That's
well,
it.
isn't high fructose corn syrup now deemed the #1 cause of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in America today? Today we want to talk about a really interesting topic, and that is adding molecular hydrogen to your water.
So, first of all, this is not building a hydrogen bomb. We didn't understand that.
And this is not straight hydrogen gas, which
No.
is explosive.
Yeah, so hydrogen gas put into compression will be explosive. But this is really about adding molecular hydrogen to water where water becomes the carrier. So when you add molecular hydrogen to water, it doesn't create a change in water. So water is H2O. This does not make it H3O or H4O. It's still H2O carrying the
H2.
hydrogen. That's really important.
And if we look back in time, hydrogen has actually been used in countries like Japan and even Tokyo. There's a lot of research articles on how hydrogen has been used in healing.
Yeah, totally. And it's starting to kind of get here, but there's hydrogen can be used in healing by even IV. They've used it before like that. Sitting in hydrogen baths. How about that one? Some of the history of these springs like that had these healing properties, they determined that it's because of the hydrogen content in that. It's been inhaled, and you can just drink it. That's what we do. We drink the water typically that is infused with molecular hydrogen.
So the fascination for me with hydrogen is if you look at the oxidative stress cycle inside of a cell, there's this molecule called the hydroxyl radical, which you can't really measure, but it is a free radical that when it's hanging around, it does the body absolutely no good. In fact, if it starts to get elevated in an accelerated rate, it actually can degenerate, denature tissues, and the end result can actually be cancer. Now, hydrogen, the nature of hydrogen, its friendly nature when you're drinking it in water, it actually attaches to this hydroxyl radical. The hydroxyl radical is OH with a little charge, and it neutralizes it into water. So if the body is 65% water, and we have this little extra free radical that's floating around, and we drink hydrogen water, we can neutralize that radical and potentially prevent what's called oxidative stress or accelerated aging.
Well, and there was a doctor, his name is Denham Harmon. Denham Harmon. He actually had this theory, 60, 70 years ago. It was called the free radical theory of aging. And it's not theoretical anymore. It was an idea that too many free radicals would create this oxidative damage in our bodies and our cells. So our cells, instead of being proliferative to be able to repair themselves, they'd start dying off, and they would create more senility to them,
Senility meaning
like senile. They're getting old.
Aging.
They can't repair themselves. They're aged. And so the aging process was associated with this free radical buildup. But he didn't know at the time about hydroxyl radical, that singular of multiple free radicals that creates nothing but damage. So it gets developed in our body just by normal life, breathing, exercising, moving, eating, talking, etc. And as we age, we don't produce as much hydrogen in our body anymore, in our gut. And therefore, when we bring the hydrogen back in, it sort of creates more youthfulness in our system by its ability to mitigate that excessive buildup of those hydroxyl radicals.
So there are several ways that we can actually create this hydrogen water in the home. Can we talk just for briefly about the two different units that we like the most? Start with the large unit that's a countertop unit that has more than 1 liter available at any one time.
Yeah, so we really have two. The main one, the first one we started using was like a one that creates about 1.5 liters. It's a pitcher. So it creates 1.5 liters in as little as 30 minutes. You can have that over. It's one that, we'll have it and we'll just drink out of it all the time. And once you create the hydrogen water, it holds it for 12 hours. So it's something that can sit there all day long, and all you got to do is fill it up with water. It has a separate chamber that operates via electrolysis. That it's a separate chamber that creates the gas, and the gas moves from the chamber into the water. And you can see it on there. The little lights that float around, you can see the little bubbles coming in. That's one thing. We've got one of those at our house and one of them at the clinic that the staff can dig out of. And then we've got portable ones that create about 8 ounces every 5 or 10 minutes. And these can be used to travel with. And it's the same principle. It's got a separate chamber that's charged by a USB port. Via electrolysis, creates the hydrogen, lets it flow up into the water, and the water becomes a carrier. This is kind of cool. When you drink the hydrogen, it goes into the system in your GI tract. The first organ it hits is the liver. And then it goes systemic, and it actually starts being breathed out in about 15 minutes. So we're talking getting all around the body because it's so small. It's a small
Can we actually
molecule.
measure it in breath?
You can. And you can even breathe it. So the big machine we have has a cannula. You can put it up your nose. You can sit there and breathe it while you're thinking a little bit and while you're doing computer work.
So interestingly, we know that exercise, of course, is going to create oxidative stress or damage. Wouldn't it be great to drink hydrogen water during exercise?
Hey, look, we think that this technology to be able to use hydrogen as just when you drink water, make it count. It can help you recover from exercise. Most likely, it can reduce inflammation. Most likely, it's going to reduce oxidative stress. We know from a biochemical process. Could it help with aging processes? Perhaps. So there's 2 ways you can get these things. First link is you can go to www.holyhydrogen.com, and you can use our clinic code FMI. You can get our practitioner discount, or you can go to fmidr.com/H2 for the portable machine. But the way I look at it, everybody needs these in their lives.
How to optimize craziness in this world, understanding meditation and mindfulness.
And keys to turning that craziness into calmness. Up next.
There's a lot of talk these days about human enhancement.
Terms like biohacking, bioharmonizing, biosynergizing, stacking, resilience, and anti-fragility.
In our clinic, the Functional Medical Institute, we've been helping people of all shapes, sizes, and backgrounds improve their quality of their physiology and maximize their lives.
So, you can follow the latest fads and gimmicks and maybe find some things that work for you.
Or you can add Kingdom Fuel to your daily regimen right now.
It's the simple start to a transformed life.
Our unique meal shakes are balanced, low glycemic, rich in fiber with 20 grams of clean protein, essential vitamins and minerals, healthy fats, and organic fruits and vegetables. Kingdom Fuel is vegan with a complete amino acid profile.
No gimmicks, just proven results.
Start today at sherwood.tv/fuel.
I know you are God. I can't believe I trusted you.
I'm Michelle. I'd love to work here.
Do you have what it takes to be a champion?
Yes, Master, I do.
We need to get you more competition.
And
Nationals?
finally, the Olympic team selection tournament.
Did somebody try to hurt you again?
But I don't think anyone will ever
She's working on being a homeless Olympic champion, and now she has somebody footing the bill for college so she can become a doctor.
We have to pray on the list so that in all of God's glory, each item on the list will come to a fruitful and gratifying beginning.
I don't know about you, but I have to have that cup of coffee in the morning. And Kingdom Cup is mold-free, it is pesticide-free, and it is organic. It's got this flavor that is delicious. You don't even have to put cream or sweetener in it.
And it's Kingdom Cup with a K,
K.
right? So this is important. 50% of all coffee at least contains mold. And this is a key thing. That's in bean form, right? So you're going to be a little grinder. They're just a few bucks. Grind it up, put it in your maker, and make it. Why did we go with the bean form, the whole bean? Because ultimately the powder form is the one that gathers the most moisture. And that means the more potential mold development. So this is actually organic, mold-free, certified. It's got a little certificate with it. That's important because ultimately people drink coffee. It's cultural. And so we tried to meet the culture where it is and create a healthy alternative.
Meditation and mindfulness. How does it affect health?
Well, it does, because when you think about the idea of meditation, we're talking about a calming of your spirit, or a calming of your nervous system. And the idea of mindfulness is looking at a situation, to me, without judgment, without self-judgment, and seeing really what you have, being aware of where you are, how you are, in a non-judgmental manner. That's the way you sort of solve problems. So mindfulness is really something that I think overall can mitigate the stress element a lot in people's lives.
Well, I've done a lot of training with meditation, and even in the aspect or area of mindfulness. Meditation is actually a process of trying to clear the mind of cluttered thoughts or extra thinking. And it can be used through deep breathing exercises, or you call it a mantra, just saying one word over and over and over and over, and watching how quickly thoughts will come in. And thoughts are actually really distractions. So oftentimes we just continually get distracted by the continual chatter that's in our minds, and slowing the mind down with a process of meditation can be very, very helpful. In terms of mindfulness, this life is so extremely stressful. I mean, hustle and bustle, and I can't even drive home from work without feeling like I'm going to get run over. We're going so fast that we aren't even aware of what we're doing. And perhaps slowing down, we're going to experience more of life and the beauty that life has to offer. Even being mindful when we sit down to eat. We are mindful about chewing our food. We're mindful about who is at the table with us. And the experience becomes greater instead of this huge hurry that we're in.
Well, truly, the idea of mindfulness, we do move too fast, and we lose track of the day, and we lose track of time, and we're so unaware of it sometimes. We get on autopilot so much, you can drive from point A to point B on a road you are familiar with and not remember going from point A to point B. As far as a meditation thing, I've got one that I use every day, and when I do this, and I'll just read this real quick because it's something I do. It says, "Thank you, God, that you made me into a great man, husband, father, son, and friend. You made me a great leader, influencer, and healer. Therefore, I am focused, diligent, disciplined, and exemplary. I'm at peace, full of joy, exuding and living with supreme health, abounding in wisdom and overflowing in love. I hear your voice and follow your directions with a servant and more your heart and mind." And again, whether I believe it or not, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I say it anyway because it can change things. It's those words create something in our body, and they create a calm there anyway.
So do you ever have those negative thoughts come in that just continue to barrage your mind?
Yeah, of course I do.
And then do you put that positive affirmation in there when those things are going crazy in your head?
Well, I have to. And if I don't, I choose not to. And if I choose not to, it doesn't help me much.
Yeah.
But even when I do, you got to force yourself to do it sometimes.
Well, how do you find that it changes the situation when you do that?
Well, I do know this from two perspectives. Number one, God's word talks about the power of life and death is in the tongue. Meaning you could speak life or speak death. That's true. Now, whether people believe it or not, it's confirmed from a scientific, physiologic standpoint, because when you speak, like, I am scared of, fill in the blank, right? Or you say, I'm afraid of, fill in the blank. The cells go into this cocoon-like mode. They retract. The cells of our body respond to that. And when they retract like that, they're in a fear-based mode. They don't have the freedom to do what they do until the threat is over. So for their own survival, they sort of go into that cocoon, or it's like a turtle with the head being tucked into the shell. When they're free, they're able to go to work and do their work for you. But that is created many times by what we speak out of our mind and what we hear from other people as well.
Yeah, so living mindfully oftentimes is going to slow us down a notch. And that can have a lot of positive physiological benefits in the areas of pain, in the areas of stress and anxiety, even in the areas of obesity or being overweight. Because if we're taking steps to be mindful about what we're doing, even with just having a snack, oftentimes somebody will pick up the bag of Doritos or popcorn or whatever, and instead of having a serving, we're so stressed or we're not mindful that we'll eat the whole bag. And then we end up with substance use disorders. That substance being food. It's the same as being addicted to alcohol. It's just a different nature or form of self-abuse or self-harm, if you will.
If we're not thinking about what we're doing, when we're doing it, why we're doing it, we're going to do it without thinking. And that can be something that is destructive. So the only way I know how to get out of that destructive thing that we do without thinking is to stop and think more through it. Now, what is this? Why is this? It just requires us coming back to the present. That's what it is. I mean, sometimes, like, I'll have people in the office that are just rattling on about past, whatever. And I'm like, okay, do you know what day it is? I'll ask them that question. They don't know. You know what time it is? And I make them tell me the time and date. And, that tends to draw them right back today.
To the present.
And that's an important thing.
Yeah, and that's the present. So taking actions of meditation where we're actually clearing our mind with that repetitive negative thought, clean it out. Or spending the time with mindfulness, staying present to the moment instead of being so hurried, has lots of important physiologic benefit. Could drinking, soda, diet, or regular be killing you?
Yes. Stop it immediately. Listen closely next.
Our flagship product is called Kingdom Fuel. Tell us a little bit about Kingdom Fuel and why it's so good.
We saw people struggling with the idea and concept of it's too expensive to eat healthy. So we thought, okay, that's the problem. Let's find a solution. So we found a solution for $5 or under per meal. And that represented the birth of the idea of Kingdom Fuel. So Kingdom Fuel is organic pea protein. It's got greens and reds in it. So this is the phytonutrients from green plants and red plants that we all talk about. Eat your vegetables, right? It's also got vitamins and minerals in it. So it's got a complete complex of that. And it's got also soluble and insoluble fiber, which the difference between the two is profound. Soluble actually gathers moisture and makes you full. And the insoluble goes through the system and grabs things like damaged particles.
The body runs on nutrients. It doesn't run on medication. And Kingdom Fuel is a complete multivitamin and mineral.
Introducing OK Movie Stream, your ticket to a world of cinematic classics and wonders, right from the heart of Oklahoma and the surrounding areas.
The Neals are moving to Oklahoma.
Dive into a world of captivating stories and extraordinary talent, all on OK Movie Stream.
Oh yeah, I did. You see, I gave you a crazy look because I
choose the option that suits you best. Watch for free with commercials, binge watch your favorites for 3 days, or unlock ad-free streaming for just $10 a year. Join the OK Movie Stream community today and embark on a cinematic journey like never before.
I don't know about you, but I have to have that cup of coffee in the morning. And Kingdom Cup is mold-free. it is pesticide free, and it is organic. It's got this flavor that is delicious. You don't even have to put cream or sweetener in it.
And it's Kingdom Cup with a K,
K.
right? So this is important. 50% of all coffee at least contains mold. And this is a key thing. That's in bean form, right? So you're going to be a little grinder. They're just a few bucks. Grind it up, put it in your maker, and make it. Why did we go with the bean form, the whole bean? Because ultimately the powder form is the one that gathers the most moisture. And that means the more potential mold development. So this is actually organic, mold-free, certified. It's got a little certificate with it. That's important because ultimately people drink coffee. It's cultural. And so we tried to meet the culture where it is and create a healthy alternative.
Did you know that drinking soda, whether it's diet or otherwise, may be killing you? Recent research has come out on the fact that if you drink more than 2 sodas a day, it may have an impact on your long-term health. You may actually be ending your life too soon.
Those are strong statements you just said. I do think that there's more even to that of a damaging effect. Like, people shouldn't be drinking soda. It makes no sense. You know, there's people that are sort of pushed towards drinking diet soda because it doesn't have, quote unquote, the right amount of sugar in it or that much sugar. But both are dangerous, aren't they?
Absolutely. Both are dangerous. And even when reading these particular articles, I always have to take them with a grain of salt because each individual person, the toxic load that or burden that they put on their bodies every single day for the passing years that they've lived has not been evaluated. So the toxic load has to be considered in the person's certain circumstance, not just the soda or the diet soda.
Well, here's a couple of things. I mean, so the pitfalls of drinking real soda. Obviously, in today's world, in America, they're sweetened with high fructose corn syrup, okay?
That's an ouch.
That is toxic to the body. The body cannot break that down. If you want to have fatty liver, drink sodas, right?
Yeah,
That's
well,
it.
isn't high fructose corn syrup now deemed the #1 cause of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in America today?
It is, and it's estimated that 1 in 4 persons right now in our great country have non-alcoholic fatty liver and have no idea. And so then there's that. And then you have to think about that, consuming that, connected with other things you consume through diet that also have high fructose corn syrup. So it's a mess. And so I am adamant about, if you're a parent out there, I'm adamant, do not introduce sodas to your kids. There's nothing good that can happen from that. And then diet soda has a whole other problematic ingredient list to it as well. The thing that I found fascinating with that is one of the ingredients in diet soda actually has the ability to form formaldehyde. So formaldehyde is what we do to pickle dead people.
That must be aspartame.
That's it. So it is aspartame. So there you go. So ultimately, when I look at diet soda, when you drink that, you're just kind of preparing yourself to be dead.
Well, and
pretty strong statement too.
That is a pretty strong statement. Association does not mean causation.
No.
So just because somebody drinks diet soda and their life ends early doesn't mean that diet soda is essentially the cause. We have to look at all of the other summation of what went into that person's life.
Mm-hmm.
And we studied genetics, and we know that the genes are the loaded gun and the environment pulls the trigger. So if a person has genes that are weak in the area of detoxification, per se, that person may not be able to handle the toxic load of artificial sweeteners. So therefore, their liver, their cells at the cellular level may become damaged because of this foreign substance quicker and faster than somebody who has a normal detox potential.
Well, either way, you think about something called resilience. I mean, our resilience, some people have greater resilience than others to take in toxins. And you know, sometimes people can take them in for 30, 40, 50 years and nothing. And then all of a sudden, boom. Some people, it affects them earlier. And by the way, I'm not saying that sodas cause cancer. I'm not going to go there because that does not directly
Association
correlate.
does not mean causation.
But here's the thing. 2 million new cases every year right now are being diagnosed. 2 million. 609,000 people die every year of cancer to date. It will overtake in our lifetime. You hear me? In the next 10 years, it will overtake heart disease as the #1 killer in America. Could this toxic load, toxic mess that we're bringing in our bodies, talking about sodas included in that mess, could it be contributory? I think yes.
Well, absolutely. We know that the solution to pollution is dilution. In order to live a long and healthy life, we have to really be cognizant about what we put in this skin bag, this temple, this body that we live in, because at the end of the day, all things matter. You might forget about what you had for breakfast, for lunch, or for dinner, but let me tell you, your body doesn't forget it. It goes through your liver, it goes through all these processing plants, no pun intended, all these enzyme little factories that are inside your cells, and your body has to deal with that. So kind of a rule of thumb is if you turn the label over on the back of anything that you're consuming and you don't know what it is and you can't understand it, can you imagine what's happening to your body at the cellular level? Perhaps that's the problem. We're putting too many chemical products into a body that is designed to have fresh and raw fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, good clean proteins, and not these chemical modulators.
This is related. See if you can guess this riddle. Here you go. This is a riddle from my wife. She has no idea I'm going to ask her this question. Which doctor in the world who is well known has mastered the art of malpractice and hurting people?
I'm not going to say that out loud.
Dr. Pepper. There you go. How about that? Pretty good.
I would have got that
Just
wrong.
came up with that right now. Isn't that good?
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, ultimately,
who
folks,
is Dr. Pepper?
Well, he's a quack, right? So the thing is, folks, we say, well, one is not a big deal, and perhaps it's not. But the more you open that door and allow toxins to enter that are known carcinogens, that are known things that the liver doesn't break down, that contribute to fatty liver, it's a bad deal. So, Diet Coke, real Coke, diet soda, real soda, we don't think it's any good at all. And I think we need to avoid that. There's a lot of different substitutes out there. These carbonated waters with flavors are really, really good. So get away from soda, gravitate towards water as your chosen drink, and you'll find your health improving along the way.
Exploring biohacking, bioharmonizing, biosynergizing, stacking, resilience, or anti-fragility?
Start here. No gimmicks, just proven results.